Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video we are going to implement the functionality for actually sending image messages in our conversation. As in the last video we had implemented the functionality for actually sending text messages. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is that, similar to our actual text message bubble, I'm going to copy this function and I'm going to create a new function, and this function is going to be our actual image message bubble. So I'll paste it here and I'll call this function our image message bubble. With that, what I'll do is that I'll do Alt-Shift-F command save just to reload the app, and then for our actual string, what we'll do is that we'll rename it to our image URL, and then for the timestamp we'll still get the timestamp, and I'll copy our image URL and I'll paste this here, do Alt-Shift-F command save. Before we get going, I would quickly like to point out one little change that I made to our application, and that was that for our actual text message bubble, the way we actually calculate the height for our container. So what I did was that I had our device height times 0.08. So this was the minimum height that our container needs to has, and then to that we actually add the actual message that we get and its length divided by 20 times 5. So this way, if we have a lot of text and we create a message bubble, then we don't get an overflow error where our text gets cut off and we get an error saying that there's not enough space in the container. So the container dynamically expands. And that follows for our image message bubble too. And then for our actual message here, I'll just set in image URL, do Alt-Shift-F command save. So with that, now what we're going to do is that we are going to firstly change the widget that we have inside of our column, and the widget now that we're going to have is going to be a container instead of a text widget. So I'll copy in this container, and this container is really simple. All we have is a container with a decoration image, as you say, and then that's a network image, which is our image URL and everything like that. And I'm going to do Alt-Shift-F command save. Okay, so now with our image message bubble defined, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to the top to our message list view child function, and inside of here we are going to actually determine what kind of children are we going to have. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a new tertiary check here, and what I'll do is that I'm going to do that if our message and then dot type is equal to, and what is it equal to? Well, if it is equal to message type.text, then what we're going to do is that we are going to show our actual text message bubble. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to set it here as text message bubble. And if that is not the case, then what we're going to do that we are going to show our image message bubble. And what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to actually then take our actual image message bubble, and for the image URL we'll just send in our message content, and for the timestamp we'll just send in our timestamp. So I'll just add these two here and do Alt-Shift-F command save. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to reload our app, and hopefully nothing gets broken when we go to the new conversation. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to actually create cloud storage function that is going to allow us to actually upload media messages. So for that, we'll go to our cloud storage service and we're going to create a new function, and this function is going to return a future of storage task and then snapshot. We'll call this upload media message. What we'll do is that we'll get in a string for the user who's uploading it, as well as the actual file, which we'll call our file. Once we have this, what we're going to do is that we are going to actually have the timestamp first for our file. So we'll define the timestamp. So I'll do timestamp, and this would be equal to our datetime.now. Once we have this, what we'll do is that we'll get our file name, so the name of our file, and we can do that by defining a calling the base name function and passing in the image, or not the image, sorry, the file dot path. So where does the base name function come from? Well, we have to import a package, and this is called the path package. So I'll have to do package and then path, and then do Alt-Shift-F command save. And then to our file name, we'll add the actual timestamp. So I'll do plus equals, and then we'll have a string, we'll have an underscore, after which we'll have our actual timestamp. So timestamp that we have .to, and then string, and then we'll do this, and with that, now our file name is going to be whatever our file name is, plus an underscore after, followed by the timestamp. Then we'll have a try statement. Inside of our try statement, we are actually going to return the storage task snapshot. So we'll take our base reference, and then from there, we'll go to a child. This child we'll call our messages child. So I'll go to the top, and I'll create a new string, and I'll call this our messages, and I'll set that equal to underscore messages. Then what I'll do is I'll create a new file, and I'll call this our actual images, and I'll set that to underscore images. Do Alt+F command save. I'm going to come down, and then for our child, what I'll do is I'll set this as messages, and inside of this we'll have another child, and this is going to be another folder which will be our UID of the user. So we'll have a folder which is messages. Inside of there we would have a folder that would correspond to the UID of our user. Inside of there we would have another folder, and this folder would be our actual images folder. So all images would go inside of this directory or folder, and then inside of here we would actually have another child, and this child would be our actual file. So we'll input our file name, and then what we'll do is that we'll call the .put file function, and for the put file we'll pass in the actual file, and with that we'll do dot and then on complete, and with that we can do Alt+F command save. And then for our cache function, what we can do is that we can just print the error, and then we can do Alt+F command save. So with this, what we can do is that we can go to our actual conversation page, and then we can go to the actual send image button. So I'm going to go to our conversation page, and then the actual send image message button, and inside of our image message button we are actually going to define the logic for actually sending the image. So firstly, what we'll do is that inside of our onPressed function we'll set it as an async function, because we'll perform some asynchronous code inside of here. Next thing we'll do is firstly we'll get the image from the device, so we'll do image, and then we'll set that equal to our await and then media service, and we'll have to import our media service. So we'll go to the top, and then we'll import our media service. Import // and then services and then media service, and then come down, and then we'll do our media service .instance and then .get image from library. Then we're going to check that we did get an image, so image is not equal to null. Then what we're going to do is that we're actually going to upload the image to actually Firebase, and for that what we'll do is that we'll do await and then cloud storage service, and for that we'll also have to import our cloud storage service. So we'll do here, and we'll do import // services and then cloud storage service, and we'll come down, and then we'll do cloud storage service .instance, and then we'll have dot, and then we'll have our actual function which would be our upload and then media message. Inside of here for the UID we'll do auth.user. and then the UID, and then for our file we'll send in the image. Once we have this done, what we'll do is that we'll get the image's URL, so we'll do image URL, and then that will be equal to await and then underscore result dot, and then we'll have the actual reference dot and then get download URL. So with this we would have the actual image URL, and then what we'll do is that we'll do our database service and then .instance, and then we'll use the send message button, and as you know it requires a conversation ID, which would be this dot and then widget and then dot conversation ID, and then we'll require an actual message which will be a message object, and then inside of here we'll need our content. The content is going to be our actual image URL. The next thing we'll need is our sender ID, and then the sender ID is going to be our auth.user.uid. Then we'll also need our timestamp, which will be timestamp and then .now. And then finally we'll need our type, which will be our message type, and then not text .image. With this we'll add a comma here, we'll add a semicolon here, and we'll do Alt+F command save. So once this is done, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to also await this function. And I'm going to do Alt+F command save, and I'm going to reload our application, and fingers crossed our image should show up. So now if we go here and I click on our actual image button, you're going to see that the library pops up. We go here and select an image to send. I'll select this and we'll send that image. And as you saw, that image was sent and it actually popped up. So now what we have to do is that we have to actually fix the styling for our actual container. So we'll do that in the next video. So with that, I'm going to end this video here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.